All right, y'all. Hope you loved conference. Let's start. Everybody, what was your favorite talk of conference? What do you got? Come on.
Oh,
there's so
Yeah,
many
just
to
kidding.
choose
We
from.
are pre-recording right now. We haven't even seen it yet, but we bet it's so good. And
Wait, can we
No,
just
it's
manifest
good.
which one we'll like the most, just for fun?
Kieran, for me, I love that man. I love his accent. I'll listen to him all day.
President Nelson.
I already
That's
know.
true.
I'm
That's
gonna
true. That's gonna be my
Safe
favorite.
bet.
safe bet. That was a safe bet. He took the under. I'm going to go with Elder Uchtdorf. I think he's gonna throw some fire.
Can't wait, y'all.
Sounds like
Talon
nope.
has no prediction.
He has no.
I have no
predictions.
prediction. I'm just gonna wait and see, but we hope you loved it, and we're excited to talk about it. Coming up.
So welcome to This is Kingdom. This is Grace.
This is Talon.
This is TJ.
This is Hollis.
This is a fun week because I thought you were starting, Grace.
No, I don't have time for you to go.
I was
but then
like,
you didn't say anything, so then I started.
Well, because I forgot that we didn't have like an extra thing to say right then, so I kind of like lost
and
my
this
train
week
of
we're
thought.
studying.
But I can start.
Okay.
Go. Because this past week we kind of all sat down and we honestly had like a 3-hour long meeting.
It was a long chat
It was
with
a long
Wingstop.
It was a good
So
chat.
it was a good chat because
Yeah,
we had Wingstop.
Of course. And as we were sitting there, we were just kind of thinking about what we really want this podcast to look like for the foreseeable future and different ideas that we had, different feelings that we had been having. And as we went through and we were kind of talking about it, we talked about how this podcast is rooted in the words of prophets and it's rooted in God's words that he specifically gives through modern revelation to prophets and apostles every single 6 months, which is really cool and so inspiring. And so what we've been doing for the past however long since we've been doing this podcast is taking those talks, we all study them individually and we kind of go through and we're like, oh, what should we teach based on this talk? And as we were sitting there the other night, like we like all paused and we were like, well, why are we reteaching this talk? Someone already gave the talk. Someone already taught the principles in the talk. That's not the job of like modern revelation through prophets. They already taught us what is our role and what is the role of this podcast. And I'm sure some of you that are listening are like, oh, I didn't even really remember that it was about General Conference. And yeah, that's the thing is that we would just take whatever we thought we should teach and go for that. And we just kind of all sat there and we were like, wait a minute. The goal and the purpose of modern revelation through prophets is not to teach it. The goal is to hear God's words to you through the prophet's words. And that's something that like we haven't really been doing. And that's not how we really study it. And all of us just kind of paused and like had this moment of imagining what the next 6 months will look like if rather than studying those talks for what we should teach, we instead study those talks for what we need. And we kind of all went through and all of us are at very different lives and very different points in our lives. And some of us are just working full time. We have a dad, we have a future dad, we have just trying to figure life out going on and a lot of things going on there. And we kind of had this moment that we were like, that's the most beautiful part about the words of the prophets is that it can be distinctly an individual for each person. That's what we want to receive out of General Conference. We don't want to reteach it. We want to hear God's words for us individually. And so we kind of just brainstormed of what that could look like for this podcast. And we kind of just decided that maybe that's what we want to do is we want to pause and rather than studying for teaching, we want to individually study these talks every single week. And we want to pause and we want to think, okay, where I'm at in my life, my own individual life that looks far different from everyone on this table and everyone listening, what does God need to tell me? What revelation can I receive through this talk? And when we get here and we start our podcast, that's what we want to talk about is the revelation that we've received through these General Conference talks. The ideas, the impressions that we've had maybe on the original day it was given, or maybe the week that we studied it and how it's relevant to us in our lives right now, which will look very different than you as listeners and as each other at this table. But maybe that's the most beautiful part about it is hearing other revelation and other people's experiences with hearing God through these General Conference talks might inspire you and each other to find our own unique revelation through these General Conference talks. And maybe we can all kind of discover the words of God through his prophets together.
Mm. And there's a couple things I want to say about this. Number one, I'm trying to think if I really believe this. And the more I thought about it, I do. I think the number one most beneficial thing you can do in your life is start hearing God's voice. I actually really think there's nothing that will improve your life more than letting his voice in and letting it guide the way that you live. And that's what I'm really excited about this now. That's what we're going to be sharing is how he's talking to us. And with that, this is the second thing I want to say. We really want to make a challenge to every single one of you listening. We actually think a lot about how do we make this podcast more beneficial for our people that are listening. And I think it's going to be beneficial for you to hear how God is talking to us because it's going to give you insights and it's going to uplift you and it's going to give you different ideas. And I believe that. And I think to take it to the next level, the thing that will completely change your life is if you start reading those same talks that we're talking about and you say, God, what do you want to say to me? What is your message for me personally? And I really believe that if we all start doing that together, it's going to be so fun to hear each other's. For us at this table and for you guys to hear yours as well and for you to hear ours. But what I think is going to be so cool is for us to start hearing God's voice more and more and what he wants to say personally to us.
I love that. And if you honestly asked any of us, the reason we do this podcast, the reason we do This Is Kingdom is because we want to build his kingdom. And I feel like one of the best ways we can build his kingdom is to gather. But there's a problem in gathering when everyone's so far away from each other. We know a lot of you listening are spread everywhere. And that's why we think social media is such a beautiful place because it provides a space for us to gather online with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our stories, with our perspectives. So what we're going to start doing is look out on our Instagram stories and posts. We're going to be asking you guys for your stories. We're going to be asking all of you for your thoughts on these talks that we are studying together. And it is going to be such a powerful way to share those things with each other. And I don't know about you, but I feel like when I hear about someone else coming closer to God, that inspires me, that moves me, that makes me want to be better. And we want to be better providing a platform where you guys can share your stories with us so we can share it with everyone else.
Yeah, just to build on what Hall's just saying, like we know you, like our community here, we know that it's a community full of leaders. It's a community full of good people trying to be like Jesus, trying to follow Jesus. We have a community here you are incredibly influential in your friends, in your friend groups and in your families and at church. And we believe in you and we love you. And we're so glad that you're here. And we just want to encourage you to be ready. Be ready to study with us. Be ready to share what you're learning and be ready to continue to shine God's light through you and to bless lives as we just continue to strive to build the kingdom together.
From the very beginning, and we kind of talked about this the other night as we were all kind of discussing what we wanted the future of this podcast to look like. If you were to ask me, honestly, my favorite part about this podcast, I love meeting the people that listen and having conversations and all of that. But like my favorite part is like talking to you guys every single week, like the three of you, and getting to sit down. And I'll be honest, like, yeah, a lot happens in the 15-minute episodes that we have, but like some of my favorite moments of this podcast are the conversations that we have for 30 minutes before and an hour and a half after in the parking lot when we're talking about our lives and what we're thinking about and our dreams and our goals and where we've seen God in our life. And those memories to me and those experiences of talking and figuring life out and just simply doing life together are sacred to me. It has like bonded me together with these three boys like more than anything else has in my entire life. Like you really truly are my truest friends and I am changed because of those conversations. And as we kind of were talking about it and after we finished that meeting the other night, I was just like kind of getting ready for bed and I was thinking about what the future of this podcast looks like. And that was one of the things that I was really excited about with changing rather than just like teaching what we liked about the talk, but rather talking about what revelation we've received is it made me so excited for you guys to get to know us in a different way and also to be able to experience those real and raw and honest conversations about our lives with us. That's the goal. Is I hope when you listen, you feel like you're sitting down at this table with us and talking to your four friends about what's really going on in life. And that's why we want to hear back from you because we hate a one-sided conversation. We want to hear your stories and your ideas and your thoughts, but I think that's something that I'm really excited about is getting to sit down at this table and talk about the real things that are going on in our lives and the real answers and revelation and words that God is speaking to us through the prophets and through these general conference talks. And it makes me really excited that all of us as a community get to be a part of that together.
100%. So y'all just get ready. Next episode, will be our kickoff of this. So
Ooh.
we're excited to see how it goes. And yeah, we're excited to share those real things with you, and we're excited to hear them from you. So be ready to hear them, be ready to share them, y'all.
Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Though it be a cross that raiseth me, still all my song shall be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Though there are winds and waves, you're in my boat. My life is in your hands. You keep me afloat. Show me the way to go, so when it's you, I'll know. Show me the way to go, your voice I'll follow.
See you next week.